This week on the Virtual Skeptics. Bob is joining the radical left. He's poisoning the well. And Barb is in the dumps about mumps. I'm your host, Brian Gregory. And can you believe that we've been doing this for almost 6 years?
No.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Really?
I looked it up today. Our first episode was in August, on August 15th, 2012.
Holy cow,
I know.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's just sick. There's something wrong with us.
Do me a favor, guys. Don't go back and watch that episode. 'Cause
Is it bad?
I'm terrible. I'm like stuttering and stuff the whole time. So.
Oh God! Don't tell him,
pretty much
guys.
like it is now. Haven't really improved all that much.
Oh well.
Anyway, so this is Virtual Skeptics. Thanks for tuning in. Let me introduce the crew. Boy, no, I won't do that. This is Bob Blaskowitz, CSI's conspiracy guy, web columnist, blogger for Skeptical Humanities, and Skepticality contributor. This is Ian Siebert, editor and blogger at Skeptical Humanities and contributor to Skepticality and Insight at skeptic.com. And this is Barbara Drescher, former psychology instructor, blogger at ICBS Everywhere, and contributor to skeptical projects such as Insight at skeptic.com and The Odds Must Be Crazy. And, you know, I just want to point out that she's crossed out on the show notes and Tim's not, which is...
Really? Which seems to be...
I swear.
When I looked at it, Tim was crossed off and I was so somebody...
I crossed her out. You might be looking at last week's version or something. Although it should have updated.
I think it was last week's version because unfortunately we didn't have a show last week. So
yes,
and we like to recycle.
Yeah, yep, I am.
Recycle the
I am crossed out.
Huh.
Anyway, hi Alex, thanks for tuning in. Just wanted to say hi because he decided to reach out on the thing. Okay, so if you want to, as Alex knows, if you want to interact with us and see if you can ask us questions or participate in the show somehow, you can hashtag Virtual Skeptics on the Twitters, and you can also do the YouTube chat that's attached to this video. And if you if you comment on the video, tomorrow, chances are we're not going to be paying attention. I'm just saying, warn you right now.
Yeah,
do it.
It's really
now.
for live.
Yes.
What was the? Oh, I was gonna make some sort of SGU joke. Premium content, live premium. No, no, we're good.
No,
no need to thank me. Really.
Yes. And also, if you're watching and you want to, be awesome, you can let me know what's playing on the screen behind me. Which this week, you should know this one.
Even Bob got.
So
and someone has already got.
Yeah. There you go, Alex. Congratulations. You've jumped first on all accounts. If you make the first pun, then we'll give you that credit too. Up first this week, Barb is talking about mumps. Sounds like it's going to be fun.
I have a couple of things actually. One of them is just a little tiny bit of news, and I don't know where it came from, but 23,655 athletes, 2,600 coaches, 1,320 teams, 39 states, 9 countries, 1 competition. That was the NCAA All-Star Nationals cheerleading competition.
Oh, I was going to say it seemed too small for the Olympics.
And they were just told that somebody at that competition brought mumps.
Oh boy.
So won't that be a joy?
I usually prefer cupcakes, but mumps.
I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised that they didn't require inoculations to participate, because having a kid in high school sports, they have to have a physical. I don't know that we had to show them inoculations, because in California you have to be inoculated to attend school. So but that's not true of every state. So I would think, though, that these sorts of competitions would require that. But of course, I've been to lots and lots of lacrosse tournaments too that pull from all over the country. And they don't require anything like that. They require membership in, U.S. lacrosse, but they don't require a physical, or I guess they assume that liability is with the coach. And, anyway, I was a little surprised and taken aback. And I thought, that would be an interesting thing to talk about, because its cases are, of course, going up because of vaccine fear. And hopefully that will swing in the other direction really soon.
So, I mean, in America, they have vaccination standards for public schools.
Yes.
But private schools do they have?
That's true. Private schools can generally do what they want, I thought. But I'm not sure that's true in every state. It's all a state by state. It's all on a state by state basis.
So the next question is, well, they have competitions, but they're not always just school competitions. There's
clubs as well.
Do they have their own standards?
I don't know that cheerleading has that. I don't know that cheerleading has a lot of club participation. I think it's mostly schools, but this is probably mostly high school. It's the all-stars, so it's probably high school competition. And
then it leads to another thought: is, well, do some countries have requirements for entry? I mean, is that even a thing? Could that be?
I don't know. I think it should be a thing, personally. I mean, you're in a confined space with a lot of people. Lacrosse tournaments are not. You're generally not, because they take place outdoors. The worst that you have is worst exposure you're going to have is with porta potties. I mean, you're not touching the same thing that everybody else is touching. But cheerleading competitions are usually held indoors.
And they're throwing each other.
They're throwing each other. Yeah, there's a lot of
pyramids,
contact, hand-to-hand contact, whereas across they wear gloves.
Swapping saliva, or that just might be the cheerleader videos that I'm watching.
You have to swap saliva, but but if they're letting people know, then I don't know, because I'm not a doctor, but I don't know how well the mumps virus lives outside of the body, but it is contagious, and it's not just a kissing disease. So
I mean, it might be something that a food service worker, or something like that, somebody who would be in a position to disseminate it widely.
Yeah, I don't know. But they don't require proof of inoculation before you go on a cruise either, and and you're sharing a lot of germs with people on cruises. If you think about it, so
I don't.
That's why norovirus gets spread so badly on cruises.
So there was some kind of outbreak in the Olympics too, wasn't there? Is it a flu? Was it a flu or a
It was
virus?
a flu. Yeah.
So generally you put a lot of people
always
from a lot of places together.
Yeah, and there's always going to be something. But
speaking of which,
mumps would. Yes. Speaking of which, what?
Oh, Bob was coughing,
but
I'm sorry
with him. So sorry.
So that I had that little bit of news. I just thought was interesting.
I guess at least it wasn't measles, because that's contagious as all get out.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the other piece that I had was something that I'm just going to talk about briefly that actually Eve tossed my way.
This would look like fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, I knew this kind of thing went on, but this was, I was really disturbed at the extensiveness of it. What's the word I'm looking for? The depth of it. I don't know. Extent to which these people went to. I don't know how. Okay, so these people pay nearly $200 to attend a symposium about aging reversal in West Palm Beach, Florida. They even talked to a couple who flew in from Texas to go to this thing. So just to pay to go to have people sell you shit, just,
No, immortality. Selling you immortality.
Telling you what you want to hear is, is what they're selling you.
For that much, for going to a conference where they're talking about things that you enjoy and want to hear about, I don't fault anyone for that, because
I don't fault them.
Fandom.
I don't fault the people who go,
but
you know,
and they started out by telling them you don't have much time left.
Yeah. They started out by basically showing them an actuarial table.
Oh my God.
when they would expect to die.
You, sir, have already died.
And so during this talk, or during this conference, they had several speakers, and one of them invited them to pay to participate in a clinical trial. Now, most research...
This is somewhere in America. Where is this?
West Palm Beach.
Is the study taking place in America?
I think
Well,
so.
if it takes place, yes, it'll take place in Florida.
And
yeah,
And
they talked about FDA.
Apparently, this is actually pretty common. The FDA approval, is a little trickier. The IRB is a little trickier. But most trials actually pay the participants, not the other way around. So that's disturbing.
Brzezinski, he's totally legit. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I just had something in the mail today from Google asking me to participate in research, and they were gonna, if you're willing to use their router and install these apps on your phone and your tablet and stuff, they'll pay you so that they can gather research about you. And it's not an insignificant amount. It was like $100 to $20 to sign up, and then $100 to install the router, and then up to $45 for each person in your household for all the devices if they log into the router and use the devices and stuff like that. So, and just so they can gather research, and it wasn't worth it to me because you'd have to get their router and all that, but my point is that most people get paid. They don't pay for it. And how much are they asked to pay? $285,000. Approximately. But it hasn't been approved by the FDA, so they don't have it in a solid amount. But that's what they're quoting in their literature and stuff. And so
wow.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of money if you have no conscience.
Yeah. Well, here's what they're paying to participate in. It's a clinical trial in which once a month these people will have their plasma transfused, and the transfusion what they will get is plasma from somebody who is young. It's a little more complicated than that, in that they plan to inject these young people with something that kickstarts white blood cells and so forth. Because they think that the proteins help, And the article, they actually discussed it with several experts, and the experts were all scoffing. And these are people who have published in the field, who basically say that there's no theoretical basis for this research yet. Not that there won't be at some point, but that's I actually looked up some discussions about paying to be in a clinical trial, and this was and it all backed up another thing that was said in this piece, in this article, which was that people tend to be asked to pay for research when the research itself is not likely to get funding, and it's not likely to get funding because it doesn't have a good theoretical basis for it. Nobody wastes money on, well, people do, but one of the tenets of science is that you really shouldn't waste money and resources on research that doesn't have a good theoretical basis. Now, that happens all the time. Bad research happens all the time.
A commercial entity will certainly not waste money on something that's not going to make the money.
This is true. But
so they rework it so it makes the money.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there must be, stringent controls and
stuff. Yeah, I'm sure there are stringent controls, except that there's no control group.
Yeah.
Bazing.
And his reason for saying his reason for having no control group was that it was too expensive. Now, if you're going to charge $250,000, you have enough money to have a control group. Here's the problem: you can't charge somebody $285,000. Nobody's going to pay $285,000 to maybe get into the experimental group. So you can't have a randomized trial. for that, because people are only going to pay if they know that they're going to be in the treatment group. And the interesting thing about that is I have seen research where people have where it like it when what's his name, the autism guy,
Wakefield?
Andrew Wakefield. When Wakefield did his study, there were, he supposedly, they've found that he's actually told people, well, you won't be in the study unless you're in the treatment group. Well, that totally negates the research to begin with, because randomized studies are supposed to be double blind, or at least blind, and you can't have blindness with something like this. He plans to use their baseline measurement to serve so that they can serve as their own control. Well, this is one of the worst types of research design possible. It's called a pre-test, post-test design.
Yeah.
In fact, it's only second bad in badness only to the post-test only design, which is when you don't measure a baseline at all, you just measure afterwards, which tells you absolutely nothing. The pre-test, post-test design, it's a common thing used in weight loss studies, where they just want to sell you something, because then they talk about how much weight people lost, but you can't blame the diet for how much weight people lose if you don't have a control group.
Yeah.
Not a diet or a pill or whatever.
Yeah.
And you also have the fact that anything that happens pre-test to post-test, anything that happens in there can explain the difference. Absolutely anything. So there's no control whatsoever there. And certainly no control for placebo, which would be a big fear in this case, because people know that they're getting the transfusions. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly why they're doing it and what they expect to happen. So, and
that was another thing that it was there. It's a phase 1, phase 2 trial, so only theoretically testing safety and
right. That's
but
so that they can. That's so that they can get FDA approval to provide the treatment, whether it works or not.
Right. But they have these brochures, slick brochures, and their presentation promising, eternal life.
Basically.
Not quite eternal life, but yeah.
Basically, yeah. That's what they're promising.
Do you have to drink the blood out of a cup?
Out of a goblet. It has to be
or
an
bathe
actual
in it,
goblet.
like Urza.
And you have to pray in Latin before you drink it.
No crosses. Stay away from crosses.
And turn around 3 times and spit. Okay, so here's this little quote from this guy, Bill Falloon, who's a real cheerleader for this guy. That's the way they described him in the article, and it seems to be very much so. So this guy's looking for immortality. He says he doesn't hesitate when asked whether he wants to live forever. The answer is yes, but he's hedging his bets. Who doesn't want to live forever? He's also a cryonics enthusiast, he said, because in the event I die before immortality is achieved, cryopreservation offers me the opportunity to be transported into the future where revival may be possible. So when flying, Falloon used to lug a thermally insulated helmet in his carry-on bag that he'd put on during takeoffs and landings. The idea was that in the event that the plane crashed and burned, his head would still be salvaged and frozen. But he no longer takes his helmet on flights, he said, in part because he's not sure it will actually work. The other reason, it's too much trouble, he said, to get his helmet through airport security.
Yeah.
Wow.
I applaud the effort. It's sad. I just found it.
It's really
sad. It's really depressing. As somebody who is, has much more of her life behind her than ahead of her, I get it. I understand it, but it's not going to make me stupid. So, I just, yeah.
Yep. That's about all you can say is,
Yeah.
people are spending their money on this just disturbs me to no end.
Yeah.
I'll get down. The dog wanted to be on camera.
Aww.
Well, I'll put him on camera. He's cute.
He's being called away.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
he's another podcast to get to.
Yeah.
So that was depressing.
Yeah, he's a special guest on SGU this week. Skeptical dog thing. I don't know.
So months and death.
Yes, that was fun to talk about and growing inducing as well. And I like to think about, a conference where they all go drink blood, which, I don't know.
Only if they pay the $285,000.
So I seem to have, maybe it was an article about this kind of thing. I vaguely remember coming across something on the internet where they were talking about the possibility that plasma that you can
I'd heard this too, not too long ago, but
thing to it. But I didn't look into it because it sounded ridiculous to me. But
they discuss in the article
all kinds of stuff. So
yes, they discuss in the article his theoretical basis was basically based on a 3-person study that he did. And he had recruited. Apparently, he had recruited.
They never age after I gave him the blood transfusions. It was
well,
great.
he didn't actually find anything in. This was about shrinking tumors. He didn't really. It wasn't very impressive.
Like an oncologist.
Yeah,
he does real doctoring.
He does. He does. He started out as No, he started out as something else.
Proctologist.
No, bone marrow transplants. He did bone marrow transplants. And that's how he made his name.
So
but then he started branching into more lucrative services. But he did a study with like 3 people with cancer and the same type of transfusion. And apparently he started out with like 30 people or something. And he wouldn't answer questions about why there were only 3 in the write-up. But
holy shit!
But the rest of his basis was like
they
5
were
different.
Unavaluable. You see, that's big time.
The rest of his theoretical basis was like 5 different mice and rat studies.
I think it was a mice study that I
and
which a lot
some
of them.
I mean, one of the experts that they talked to had published 3 studies. With rats or mice, and she was like, the research is nowhere near being ready to be tested on humans, and mice and rat studies don't tend the tendency. It's not like they all pan out with humans. Very, very few of them actually do,
and I believe,
and so it's not.
She actually sewed mice together.
Old and new mice together. Old and young mice together. I thought that was funny. Yeah.
Next at the next conference, they're going to do
Frankenstein stuff.
Young
person partners.
Well, some of the actual scientists, that was their reaction was, "Oh, good God, this sounds like Frankenstein science." Basically.
Yes, the go-to name for any science that has the yuck factor.
Yeah.
Or the macabre factor, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that was interesting. Thanks, Barb. Up next, Eve is going to do a story that includes Australian poison and water and mercury.
Thank Eve, too, for finding that little piece.
Which, apparently things kill you in Austria that aren't animals.
Austria, not Australia.
Oh, now I'm disappointed.
Sorry.
The only thing that kills you in Austria is what? Goats? Do goats kill you in Austria?
I don't know.
The Von Trapp children, maybe?
Stung to death.
There must be avalanches.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, recently workers at a sewage treatment plant in Upper Austria detected high levels of mercury in the sludge waste during routine testing. The mercury level was almost twice the allowed limit, which is bad. And I know what you're thinking. surely you're thinking it's from all those Ebola vaccines that don't have thimerosal in them anymore. Nope, no, it's not that. Well, then, you say from underneath your aluminum foil hat, it must be from chemtrails. No,
crushed thermometers.
Not that either. Yeah, well, nor did an old-fashioned thermometer factory explode. And no Russian spies have been hospitalized in the area, so it's probably not Putin. The Department of Water Management inspected sewer lines from industrial and commercial sites in the Vöcklabruck district, but didn't find the source. They also looked into dental practices, and according to a Google translated article, investigated channel strands. I have no idea.
Okay.
You don't know what are
I don't know. Sometimes it's some of the translated articles, which unfortunately I had to deal with. It sounded like it was in a canal system, but I think it was really just the sewage system. Regardless of the quality of the translation, though, it seems to have been quite the scientific sleuthing operation. And eventually, they traced the mercury to an apartment building 10 miles away from the sewage treatment plant. The building's entire pipeline system was contaminated with mercury. One of the apartments had tea lights and an Indian prayer shrine. And this is presented in one of the articles as if it was actually a clue. But whatever. And sure enough, the woman living there was the culprit. She is a cancer patient.
This is horrid.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
She had recently visited India. Different articles describe her destination as a wellness center, a monastery, or a healer. Whatever the place is, though, it sells only the finest grade A quackery and snake oil. When the woman returned to Austria, she brought with her various substances, specifically a curative cream, also described as black sludge in the article.
Oh, is it black salve?
I'm not sure. Again, translated.
Yeah, no, I bet you that's what it is.
But they were called creams, yeah. So, and powder. According to
what type of
article,
cancer is it?
They don't say. So, yeah, it just says a woman with cancer. According to one article, she had 10 kilograms or 22 pounds of cream and powder. The cream was 32% sulfur and 27% mercury. The powder was 36% mercury, 20% copper, and 3.8% sulfur. And presumably some other stuff, because neither of those actually adds up to 100%. But regardless, the big news here is the mercury, which is known in technical scientific terms as poison. Now, yes, in minute quantities, ethyl mercury is perfectly safe and an effective preservative, but you don't want to lug around 22 pounds of crap that's over 25% mercury. That's bad. The woman's cancer has not been cured. Well, okay, none of the articles really talk about that, but I'm going to
It's cured if she's dead.
Yeah, no, she's still alive, but I'm assuming it hasn't been cured. But now at least she has the distraction of being quite ill from mercury poisoning. She is receiving treatment. Contaminated water entered the drain system through her shower, bath, and toilet for months. The woman's apartment was
so much that they were able to detect it. Jesus.
Yeah, 10 miles away. The apartment was full of the stuff, especially the dishwasher. Reportedly, and again, I don't know how reliable some of these sites are, but reportedly 4 kilograms of pure mercury entered the sewer system over a period of months, which seems to be a lot of mercury. Workers destroyed what was left of the remedies and spent a week decontaminating the apartment. The sewer system between the apartment complex and the treatment plant are being decontaminated, and the tainted sludge from the sewage treatment plant has been safely contained as hazardous waste and needs to be disposed of. One outlet reported that the whole operation cost 100,000 euros, which is approximately $122,000. It's not clear whether the poisoned cancer patient will have to pay for it. Now, the water treatment department or water management department has cited this as a win for their effective management system. This shows how well our environmental control functions and how quickly and efficiently we work in an emergency. This prevented an environmental disaster, Department Director Ulrika Jaeger-Urban said in a statement. I don't know, though, what it says about airport security that the woman was able to fly from India to Austria with 22 pounds of poisonous black sludge and white powder.
22. Was it checked?
I don't know. Yeah, they never let you allow anything that's 22 pounds in overhead, if they even let you have anything in overhead at all anymore. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's not explosive.
No, but white powder, you'd think they'd be curious about white powder.
Yeah, about what was in it. Yeah.
Large quantities.
Not if the dogs didn't care.
Yeah. Well, they got dogs, probably poisoned.
Yeah. Wow.
Environment.
That is.
Environment State Councilor Rudy Anschober of the. I'm so gonna sneeze. Hang on. Of the Green Party took the opportunity to warn against non-certified Ayurvedic treatments. He recommended that people book tours through
all of them.
Through tour operators so that they know that they're visiting a certified spa. He added, the case shows how dangerous drugs from abroad are or can be.
Yeah.
Certified Ayurvedic treatments, such as those offered in Austria, are harmless to health. Oh, sure, they won't cure your cancer, but at least they won't
They'll just bilk you out of
poison
your money. Yeah.
and everyone around you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
that was depressing.
That's
God, we're just a bundle of laughs tonight, aren't we?
Wow. Wow. Any comments from the peanut gallery? No.
I have a
quiet, but
I have a feeling that we're talking about black salve, which is sold as a natural treatment. That it's an what do you call it?
Yeah, I was just reading about it because I
yeah.
To refresh your memory.
It's a burning agent, is what it is.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's caustic.
Caustic, yeah. Yeah, it's bad news. Disfigures people.
I've seen really nasty pictures of it. Yeah.
It's something like that. It's an extract from an actual plant.
Bloodroot?
But it's
Bloodroot?
That sounds good to me.
It also should perhaps be noted as sort of a side note.
It doesn't seem about mercury in here, though.
No, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if it's unregulated, anything could be in it.
But India is full of supposed to be cosmetic creams that whiten the skin that are full of mercury.
Yeah.
Also.
So it could just be kind of the base that they're using for all of the creams, you know?
And actually, I think it does work in whitening the skin, except for the horrible poisoning. Because somehow it interferes with melanin production.
They should probably go with the blue skin because that's cooler.
That's awesome. Smurfitis.
What is that? What's that? Silver? What is it?
Yeah, colloidal silver.
Colloidal silver. Yeah.
Or just being really inbred in Kentucky.
Blue?
That makes
blue people. Look it up.
Is it a thing?
Yeah.
Wow. So genetically you could be blue?
It's a genetic thing.
Wow.
It's not porphyria, which makes your urine blue.
No, it's not porphyria.
I don't think that's genetic.
It is genetic. Porphyria?
Porphyria is
Yeah.
genetic?
The royal family has it.
Wow. So
They
King
did.
George.
That's TMI.
And probably a bunch of others had it too, like, but they also were all full of the syphilis. So.
And you were treated with that with mercury.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It all comes around to the mercury.
Blue Fugits, the family that lived in the hills of Kentucky, known as the Blue Fugits.
Blue Fugits.
Holy cow! They're blue!
A genetic trait that led to the disease methemoglobinemia.
Okay, now I've got to look this up because you guys are
methemoglobinemia. Yeah.
Look at that. There's a picture.
Holy cow!
Oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta Google that and look at the images.
blue Tennessee people.
Kentucky.
Why the
Same thing.
Fugit family had blue skin? Wow.
Blue Kentucky people.
This is gonna be a rabbit hole. I'll go down.
Holy shit!
I know.
They're blue, man.
About the blue thing.
Oh my god.
That's wonderful rabbit hole. I'm gonna.
That's
be up till
amazing.
2 a.m. researching that crap.
I feel horrible that I'm gawking.
Wow.
Wow, that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
What?
Holy
The
cow.
dog doesn't like it either. So, moving right along from the blue.
One of them was named Papa Smurf.
Papa Smurf. Really?
Yeah. He's named Papa Smurf. He died.
Oh, poor Papa. Speaking of blue, all I have from Bob is that he's joined the radical left, which is on
Go
theme.
figure. Yeah.
I don't
So
know
this week,
here, so go ahead and
well,
jump
this
in.
this week, YouTube apparently grew a pair.
Yeah.
And,
oh my
and
god.
they-
We need to organize this. We can do like I'll set a timer.
forgot
We'll all
about that.
laugh for like 60 seconds.
Okay, ready? 1, 2,
Go.
3.
I can't force it.
That's good.
But also, we love you, YouTube, at the moment.
Yes, at the moment.
Go
Go ahead, fill
So-
in everyone who doesn't know what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay. So Mike Adams lost his YouTube channel.
Yay!
Yay! Mike Adams is a self-styled health ranger, but an everybody else styled asshole.
And boy, was he pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't. I don't think he was pissed. I think that he was.
He acted like he was.
Yeah. Well, he acted like it, but he uses it as an opportunity to try to raise more money.
Has he blamed it on Gorski?
No, he hasn't blamed it on Gorski, but the weird thing is that what he said in a podcast was that they're attacking independent media. They're attacking independent media, which means that they are setting up the biggest false flag ever. Whatever. I know. Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense.
Well, because he's a
Not that smart. Although he does have a lab coat, so
yeah, he was able to get a mass spectrometer from, eBay.
yeah.
So
And those things make you smart, sort of automatically, right?
yeah, that's right. So the story is, well, he had a video up that was questioning the Parkland shooting, and it's that in itself. You know what? At this point, go for it, YouTube. I'm all for the free exchange of ideas, but
Hey.
people are getting harassed. People are getting.
It's a private. You know what? It's a private space.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Adams.
That they're getting censored. I'm sorry. It's not a government-run entity. It is not a public utility. It is a private space.
Beep. Get out of here. And this is on the heels of the Parkland kids, David Hogg, being the subject of a conspiracy theory where they said that he was one of these crisis actor thingies, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. The video shot to the top of the YouTube rankings, and YouTube decided to put its foot down and, yank that. And they've gone after some other conspiracy theory sites that have pushed these kinds of damaging stories that get people hurt, honestly. You think of the parents at Sandy Hook being harassed by that professor in Florida who said that they didn't actually have children who were killed there. That sort of thing is happening. People are showing up at...
Just today there was a story about pastor at that Baptist
Texas.
church.
Yeah, in Texas, 2 people showed up stalking this pastor, and they were arrested. There was some sort of shooting at the church, was there?
It was there were 26 people killed in November, including the pastor's daughter.
14-year-old daughter.
You don't have a daughter.
Shit, I can't even remember that.
She was 14 years old, and
apparently the guy was saying that he was going to hang the pastor and pee on him. I mean, just a lunatic. In fact, I think, that was awful.
Yeah, so this stuff is happening, and I am so fine with that. One of the problems that we have is that the providers are not acting like the editorial services that they are. They like to present themselves as platforms and not as like news media sources, but they behave in exactly the same way, and they eliminate the difference between mainstream media and fringe nutloaf. And in the absence of an editorial authority, you're going to get a lot of weird shit. So I'm okay with them cleaning up their rankings, improving their algorithms, and purging
They are a private space. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
They can.
And so, so I first heard about this from ORAC, that Mike Adams' YouTube page was down. And I've decided that ORAC must just get his internet research directly from the Holy Spirit. His posts go up so fast. There's confirmation that YouTube has taken down Mike Adams' site. That came in the forums, as Gorski knew from direct revelation. And in a statement, Mike Adams said, "Wah."
Yeah.
Is that a direct quote?
Basically,
that is a direct quote. Yeah. And it's very strange because the way that this is playing out, YouTube cracking down on people who are just bullshit peddlers, and a particular type of dangerously popular bullshit predators. Predators. Okay, sure, I'll say that too.
Alex Jones is on his second strike, we think. Sorry.
Eve.
All right.
I was getting there.
All right.
It's being framed by both of them as being an anti-conservative movement. Right. They are throwing in with the conservatives, saying that this is our alignment. Up and down.
Of course maybe they are.
Anti-loonbat.
Huh?
Anti-loonbat?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad for ORAC. Gorski has been vilified by this excremental piece of garbage, and fetid trouser dumpling. But so while this is happening at the same time, Alex Jones, who you may know as a shirtless bullhorn haver,
and seller of supplements, much like Goop.
Yes, a supplement peddler. Does he have anything for cats? This is what it's like.
Somebody's very unhappy
most of the time here. He's having separation issues. How you doing, Jesse? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Alex Jones is also Alex Jones is he was reporting about how
also
he's
wants
being
attention.
Yeah, not to be outdone. Alex Jones, who
perfect timing.
You know what? It's much more pleasant to listen to that than it is to Alex Jones.
That's true. That's very true.
But he said that he was about to lose all his content because people had reported him for something. Now, we only know that he has one strike against him, and that was for another one of these Parkland things, for saying that a kid was a crisis actor.
Hello?
The YouTube three-stage process where you get 3 strikes, you're out, right? And so he claimed that he was going to be frozen out of his account and he was going to lose everything, which YouTube said no.
That's not how they do things.
No, the idea that there are 2 strikes against him might be all the advertisers who are pulling their not the NRA actually, but everybody else is pulling out from Alex Jones's channel. And so that was the suspicion that he had 2 strikes against him came from that. That wasn't confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. And what they actually did do to Jones was to demonetize him. So they're no longer selling advertisements. He no longer gets compensated for that. They
cracked down on a lot of people recently about that.
Good. You know, when your business model is sensationalist shit, you know, that draws clicks, you're going to have a lot of bad content out there. But he still has his supplement market. And there was another thing that's going on, and Alex was able to bring it all together. He's being sued by the creator of Pepe the Frog for selling a Pepe thing. Pepe, you will know, is racist as fuck, right? He is now. He wasn't designed like that, but he was picked up by the trolls over at 4chan and turned this kind of laid-back little frog into a sign of the racist right. And now he's associated with racist right, and Alex Jones is selling Pepe the Frog merchandise because opportunist. Yeah. And he was also ranting about Soros on his page, too. So I'll put him in with the anti-Semites.
Alex Jones ranting? Oh.
Sounding much like that.
Or he has strong opinions about these things.
Yeah. Jesse! Literally anything else. Go anywhere else in the house, man. All right. So, so Jones says that this is a clear slap suit.
Slap suit.
Yeah, which is to penalize people from participating in public dialogue, which suggests to me he said that he got that from his lawyers. He said, "Oh, this is a clear slap suit," which either means that he didn't talk to his lawyers, or 2, he has really shitty lawyers and is going to lose. So I'm fine with that. It's just kind of amazing for these people who, for all their railing and ranting and demanding and protesting the government, how indignant they get when their speech, which is protected, is in any way curtailed whatsoever. and the guarantor of that speech is the government. It suggests to me that they might be opportunistic mounds of Bisquick.
Pancakes? Pancakes.
Yeah. I was just trying not to swear for fucking once.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah, it almost worked, but no. So yeah, it was a bad week in the wackosphere. But Adams, that Gorski said that Adams had gone to Vimeo, but I looked up Vimeo and dipshit, and he didn't come up. So
yeah, good luck finding him that way.
Yeah. But I next look forward to Google delisting all of his web of sites. I think that would be totally reasonable, because he's there to game the system. Captain Link Farm.
Captain Link Farm.
I thought Google had downgraded him.
They did. They yanked his sites for some slight, and then he went back up, and he ate his own face. Yeah.
Is that an expression that means something? I don't.
Yeah, I saw that this morning for the first time, and I wanted to use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hillary left a C off of an email, and Congress ate its own face, is the way that it was described. Like, okay, yeah, all right.
Okay. Alex Murdoch says in the chat, SLAP, SLAPP, strategic lawsuit against public participation.
Yeah, that's right? Not what this is. This is a copyright lawsuit.
Yeah.
This is someone monetizing. This is theft. Intellectual property. Now, I don't know if it's enforceable, because you have to, like Disney does, mercilessly pursue people who violate your intellectual property in order for it to not move into the public domain, it seems. But, I hope it causes, and Jones was starting to wave his angry little fist in the air. We might have to start suing people. We've been nice this long. Yep. I know. Everything about him is for Christ's sake.
Yep. And I'm going to move right along because I'm getting really tired of talking about the health ranger moron guy. Anyway, thanks, Bob.
Yep.
I've got slides.
Yay!
We got visuals.
Yeah, so we can actually have something good, funny to look at. Well, fun to look at besides the Big Lebowski. So this is a research project. Ooh, no, that's not it. Let me go back. There's the play. There you go. This Harvard actually does some. Actually, they've got Harvard. That school doesn't have engineering stuff. Well, actually, yeah, they do. And they do some very interesting robotics as well. And this is somebody's, which I don't have in front of me. Well, let's see here. Katia Bertoli is a group of students that are working on this particular kind of thing. Probably a couple of PhD papers coming out of this. But they were looking at so pneumatic bladders, which are these. It's essentially a balloon that if you add air to it and it expands. And they're trying to use it as a simple actuator for snake-like robots. Now, a lot of the snake-like robots I've talked about on here have been like a sequence of joint actuators. So it would twist like a sidewinder and move that way. Well, this one is attempting to do it in like stretching muscles, but they're actually air bladders. And they've found that if you wrap it in a textured material that resemble the scales of a snake in certain shapes, then it kind of has this side effect of a rolling friction. So the expansion slides, and then the contraction, the shape of the little indentations in the texture of the material grabs and causes it to move forward. And the different shapes, they tried a bunch of different shapes, and they found that these little trapezoid scales work best, and it allows it to get more. It's a friction versus stretching ratio. What's interesting is another kind of
Do you see it in motion? Is there?
Did you see the
video of it moving?
Yeah, you just showed it.
Yeah, that's just the muscle part itself. It's just an air bladder has structure so that it only expands in one direction. There's an example.
That's
of
very
snake.
convincing.
That is
snake.
Oh, that's good. That's good practical effects there. That's what that is.
Okay. I'm moving along. Okay, so this is them. Where is it? Okay, this is the various types of textures they tried. So there you go.
That's horrifying.
Yes, it's very funny.
Oh, that's funny.
So they have extensions to this idea that and one of the things I talked about or I thought about when I was reading about this is that snakes typically have it's not just a single muscle; it's a stretch. You can watch them move along the length of their along their length.
That's all they are is length.
Yes, it's just length there. But so you could actually, if you had multiple bladders, you could kind of have this scaling effect and get a very fluid motion, and have a nice, lightweight, very flexible, very agile snake-like robotic.
Oh, this is great! So we can have robotic snakes, realistic robotic spiders, and robotic bees. It's a perfect nightmare.
Well, there's been a lot of work in the last, actually, it's been a while now, but a lot of inspiration from organic, from creatures, and the engineering that has come out of evolution, and applying that to actual real engineering and try to perfect it in doing artificial.
And Georgia Tech has an entire lab devoted to that.
Yeah.
So does UCSB.
Yep.
Why don't you see more triangular snakes? If triangular works best.
Because they don't have to 3D print their skin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the triangular shape was just easy to manufacture. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's just that was something that was easy for them to 3D print.
Is he like in Heat? Not you, Brian.
The snake is. That's how it moves.
No,
I think my attention.
Yes.
Anyway, there we go. So there you go. That's the robot that's gonna kill you this week. I think that's our show. We've got a couple of little things we got to do to wrap it up. I was looking to see if anyone has added to the hilarity that this wonderful, uplifting show has been on the internets. And Alex and Pierre Cloutier have posted a few things and contributed, and I appreciate that. But let's do the wrap up. I don't think we have any announcements. I mean, what's coming up? They announced the date for Nexus. If anybody's interested in Nexus, it's in July. I don't remember the exact date, but
it is.
Yeah, didn't they send out the emails?
I don't. Yeah. I don't usually get to go, so.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it this year. Unfortunately, I've got other things already scheduled for that weekend. So, good stuff.
Balticon. We're going to Balticon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can try to do a virtual Skeptics at Balticon.
The idea. I talked to JD who organizes the Skept track at Balticon, and he's open to the idea. We have to do something with the organizers of the con to try to figure out how to do that if we want to do it as a thing at the con. Which we'll talk offline about that. But
yeah. Nexus is July 12th through the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't be able to go.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately. But Balticon is
Memorial
Day
weekend.
Yep. So we got some time for that. But keep in touch if you want to know and you're going in the area at that time to go to that. It's a cool con to go to. It's got a lot of podcasters and a lot of science. And the guy, what's the guy's name who does the
dinosaurs every year?
He is awesome.
That was fun.
He's like the best thing in the science track ever. And
except for
you guys were awesome too.
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't know. You never come.
Okay, fine.
We just assume you're always awesome.
Jeez.
Yes.
Jeez. That's all for announcements. Let's do book time. Everybody got books?
Got books.
I got a book. Who wants to do their book first?
Jesse wants to go first.
Jesse's book. Who's ready? Barbara? Bob? Bob, you ready?
We tend to assume, for example, the positive characteristics cluster. People who are attractive must also be good. People who seem kind might also be intelligent and well-informed. Even this has been demonstrated experimentally. Identical essays in neat handwriting score higher than messy ones, and the behavior of sporting teams that wear black is rated more aggressive and unfair than teams that wear white.
Huh. Who's next?
I'll go.
Go.
An even more sophisticated form of inductive reasoning is the argument from causal correlation. This type of argument examines specific cases, classes of cases, or both in order to identify an actual relationship or correlation between them. Most research in scientific tradition adheres to the principles of the inductive causal correlation argument, or its deductive cousin, the causal generalization, which we shall discuss in the next section. The following examples might help you identify arguments from causal correlation. Children who are exposed to excess levels of lead, either from eating paint chips or from air pollution, often suffer serious brain deficiencies and learning disabilities as a result.
Wow, I like how you kind of tied that into everything.
Yeah.
Eve, go ahead.
Marriage basically involved transfer of property, and the contracting parties could afford to wait for biological maturation. Particularly in the case of girls. The law decreed no minimum age for either bride or groom. If a young girl with physical flaws became engaged, no final decision was made until she turned 16, giving her a chance to outgrow the impediments. The law also referred with equanimity to widows under the age of 16. The sagas of Icelanders report very young brides in pagan setting, a pattern which continued into Christian times.
It was expected simply that we would keep a record like this one in a journal like this one, lightweight but nearly indestructible, with waterproof paper, a flexible black and white cover, and a blue horizontal lines for writing and the red line to the left to mark the margin. These journals would either return with us or be recovered by the next expedition. We have been cautioned to provide maximum content so that anyone ignorant of this area would understand our accounts. We had also been ordered not to share our journal entries with one another. Too much shared information could skew our observations, our superiors believed. But I knew that from experience how hopeless this pursuit, this attempt to weed out bias was. Nothing that lived and breathed was truly objective, even in a vacuum. Even if all that possessed the brain was self-immolating desire for the truth. Who went first? Bob, what's your book?
My book is Bad Science by Ben Goldacre.
Hey, I've read that one.
Yep, which I'm reading with my class right now.
Cool.
Mine is Arguments and Arguing, the Products and Processes of Human Decision-Making by Holohan and Bask. It's a textbook.
It sounded like one. I was looking forward to the next chapter. What was your book, Eve?
Women in Old Norse Society by Jenny Jokens.
Of course it is. It was interesting. Mine is okay. So this is from a novel called Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. It is first of a trilogy. I'm actually in a reading. I've read the first one, and I'm currently reading the second in the trilogy called Authority. The movie that just came out called Annihilation is loosely based on the first book. I have not seen the movie yet, and I heard it's very different from the book, but I enjoy the book. So
it's getting panned.
Yeah.
The movie's getting panned.
The book has been fascinating, and it's the way it's written as a personal account, and of course it's just I don't know how to describe it. Because it's a personal account. There's all kinds of bias and perception in it that kind of makes it a mystery for all the entire read. So
cool.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. There you go. Thank you all for bringing a book.
As we do.
As we do. I'm wasting time while the browser comes up with my show notes.
It's very convincing.
Yeah.
No one will ever know.
So I guess that's it. We've talked about all the doom and gloom we could possibly pack into an hour, and
also screw Alex Jones.
Yep.
Yes. So there you go. And thank you all for watching and participating and enjoying, if you can, what we've thrown together today.
What we have thrown at you.
Yes. There you go. And on that
what we have wrought.
Yes. And to make it all better for you, we're going to dance. I promise.
I refuse to dance.
Yes.
I always dance.
I always dance. Okay. There's the logo. There's the music.
Sometimes I don't dance enthusiastically.
Oh. The Virtual Skeptics is an independent production of What's the Harm.net, Skeptical Humanities, myself, ICS Everywhere, and Doubtful News. Our logo was designed by Sarah Mayhew at sarahmayhew.com, and our theme music is by Musicant and used with permission. I wanted to say something about Alex Jones.
Say it.
You're turning the frogs gay!
You're turning the frogs gay! Thanks for watching.